welcome back to Sticks and Strings. We're back! I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And we're back from the near dead.
Just barely.
Just barely. Just barely. So good to be back with you. I think we're all pretty much feeling better. Not 100% for me anyway, but better. So, Beth's going first?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but can we slide the little thingy?
Yeah, so this is just for a party. This is Beth.
Well, can we slide it like one way, or just so Beth has some ability to show her stuff, even though it's not even now.
Yeah. Now it's not in the center,
but you can actually see Beth's projects.
It barely has any ice in it.
Okay, so the big news I have this time is that I have a finish, not an FFO, a finish. This was one of my WIP-GO polls, number 5. The goal was to finish this la-di-da kitty, and I did. I finished this zigzag outer border part, and then the simple line border around the whole thing. And I did add Cyrano and Hotspur's initials here, and then the year I got them. I kind of had to make them rework them a couple times because I thought, okay, that looks good, and then I counted the squares. It was like a little too big for this space, so I had to. That's why the H is very skinny and very long.
Let me see.
But they're.
Oh, I see. That's cute though.
But so I thought that worked really well, and I did have to, like I said, I had to add down here, add some stitches, and so I added one there to make it work out because of the mistake I made on the tree trunk, but it's done, and since I still have to do my FFO goals for this month, and so maybe I have like 3 finishes that are waiting in the wings to be FFO'd, so maybe I'll do them all at the same time.
Next year. 2 years from now.
And then my other WIP that I had on WIP-GO for a goal was 6 days on Santa's house. And so I worked primarily on this bottom part. I did one of the red colors of the sleigh, and I had finished this brown on the middle, on this middle deer, whatever we did the last update 2 weeks ago. Because it wasn't this Saturday, but last Saturday, I had done a few days, 3 I think of the 6 days on Santa's house. So I finished the 6 days, and I think I did like 7.5-ish to finish it up what I was doing. But so I added all these little red pops that you see here. That's one of the shades of red. There's another shade of red that goes in there. So, and I did all the white that's in the little oven over here. There's some other colors that go in there to finish them, but I did all the white on there.
It's an interesting red.
It is. It's kind of an orangey. It's very orangey.
I don't like it. Yeah.
But yeah. So
I mean, probably in the context of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if it was being done on a different color fabric, it might not look as orange.
Yeah. But and I finally put the little carrot in this snowman's nose because I got tired of looking at this blank hole, so I just put the 4 stitches of the carrot in there. And because I think there's more of the orange in the nutcrackers or whatever. But yeah, so I did both the little nutcrackers, the little jacket things. Although this one still doesn't have a beard and hair. But so yeah, so that's Santa's house. I'm slowly making progress on that. And then one of my WIP-GO goals for this month was to do a new start, and I did Karma Chameleon. I started on it last time we did the video 2 weeks ago, and so I did a little more on Karma Chameleon, his little. I started working on his head, and I finished his arm. I think I had finished, and I did this flower here. And when I was working on it, because I do primarily just the out and back kind of stitching. I do. It just depends on where whether I do it one X at a time or I do it back and forth. And so I was doing this flower. I was doing it vertically, the lines on it, and I was like, that doesn't look. What is that? It doesn't look like anything. And then I finished, and I thought, oh, it's a flower, but it's turned like sideways or whatever. So yeah, and the funny thing about this is that yesterday we were at Hobby Lobby, kind of just unexpectedly, and so there was a few colors of this chameleon that I had looked for them among my things that I had handy, and I figured that the colors are probably in another WIP somewhere, but I didn't have them at hand. So since we were at Hobby Lobby, I thought, well, I'll just buy extra skeins of that DMC colors, and so I had them in my head. I thought from when I was looking for them, I had been sort of chanting the numbers to myself as I looked through all my stuff, and so I thought, okay, I think I can remember it. So I grabbed a couple of skeins, and the third one I thought was that I had the right number, and I had all the right numbers, but I had them in the wrong order. Because it was supposed to be 351, and I picked up 531. Because and I thought, I think it's a green, because I think I looked at the 351, and it was like some other shade, like a yellow or pink or something, and I thought, I don't think that's right. I think it's a green color that I'm missing. No. Yeah. But anyway, then on the 20th, which was my dad's birthday, I worked a little bit on this. This is Wayfaring Stranger, and I have a picture over here of the this one that I designed for my dad, and and I think I almost I think I was thinking about changing this the text on this, but I think maybe I'll just do a different design. So the text on this is from an old hymn. I'm a poor wayfaring stranger while traveling through this world below. And then the last part of the song, of the verse, I am just going over Jordan, I am just going over home. And it was one that my dad and his family, whatever, they were sang this song a lot. But anyway, so there's one sheep for my dad, and then these little fish are for us, and then these other sheep are my dad's family. But anyway, so this I had designed when my dad passed away. And I had started working on it, and it looks very small. This is like, I know it's like 46 count embroidery linen that I got at Hobby Lobby some time ago, and it is very small. It's very, very tiny.
Oh wow!
But I'm stitching 1/2 on this. So I was working on the border, so I just put a few more stitches in it, and it's the border's almost all done on this. Has on this side, and because I thought that doesn't look right. It's so small. It's so tiny. And then as I worked on it and I counted it and I recounted it, and I was like, that's right. It's just that it's so small that it looks...
But it's nice.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how I'm going to finish this exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like I said, I think I want to do another one with a different color and do this other, the other verse, the verse from Isaiah. I think it's Isaiah. The verse that says, as for me and my house.
That's Joshua.
Huh?
Joshua.
One of those Old Testament guys.
That's one of the last things that Joshua said to the people before he died.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys should be doing this, but it's for me and my house.
But so I worked on this. I worked on this on the 20th.
That's nice.
And then the other WIP-GO goal, other new start, is the swans, which is here somewhere. I have pictures of these. But so the swans, which is connected to the fox. So I did a little more on the fox. Last time we did a video, I think I was working on the fox's tail, and I had done whatever we did while I had to take it out because I did it wrong. But anyway, so I added a few more. I just finished off the thread that I had here. So I did a few more loops on this little tail here. And then I did this tree, and I did like the first like 3 sections of this tree. And I got over here to the far end, and it was right up against the border. And I thought I had put in a space between the, when I charted this out or added the border in, there was supposed to be a space at the top of the first square of the tree, because it goes in the chart. It goes right up against the edge of the chart, and so I had wanted to add a one square kind of buffer between the little border thing that I created and where the elements of the chart start, and also one square in from the edge of the border this way. And I got to this third little square on the tree, and it was right up against the border. And I thought, I just gonna do that. And so I thought, well, I can just fudge everything over here. And I thought, no, because I'm gonna mess up and do something wrong. So I took it all out and I redid it all.
This is on the swan side?
Yeah, on this first tree on the swan part.
Do they all have that wooded background look to
Yeah,
it?
it's a year in the woods. Yeah, so there's
Okay.
trees, everywhere.
Similar trees in
Yeah.
each thing. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I took it out and redid it, but I finished this first tree, and right now today I'm working on these little some of these little snowdrops that are here. And yes, I'm carrying threads because I don't care, because this tree here is going to be on top of the thread that I carried, from here to here. So, but yeah, so I'm working on white. So I'm going to do this little crystal thing here and probably go down and do the roof. But, so yeah, that's, I still haven't done my FFO goals for this month, which I'm going to be doing in the next several days.
You got time.
But yeah, but otherwise, will have hit my WIP-GO goals, and I got a significant pile of junk done. So
That's good.
that's me.
Is that you?
That's me.
All right, I guess I'm going next. Well, if you guys tuned in last week, I finished that needle case for Hannah. And I'm very, very proud of it. But right now, I'm a little bit heartsick because I sent the box on Wednesday, I guess it was, the 19th. Or maybe it was even Tuesday. It sounds like your dog is chewing on something.
I know.
No,
I think it's
just her toenails.
I was going to say, I think it's her nails.
So anyway, I sent the box out, and it got all the way. It got to Boston right away, and on the 20th, it was out for delivery, and on the 21st at midnight, it said awaiting delivery scan. So it was like it was out for delivery, like on the truck on Thursday, but somehow Friday midnight.
It disappeared.
It disappeared.
You don't know.
So there's no scan that it was delivered, and there's no information. And it's Saturday the 22nd. So.
And she hasn't talked to her, or haven't received.
No. I've been asking her, to keep an eye out for it. So it's not there.
I hope they didn't leave it on the step or something like that.
But it would have said they delivered it.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks maybe it got stuck on the truck. Lost, like it's under something on the truck and never got delivered, never got scanned that it was delivered, and maybe on Monday.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
Sad. So, what's funny is that I wrapped everything in plastic bags. So, because one of the things I was sending, it started innocently because one of the things I was sending her was a bottle. And don't tell the post office of a plastic bottle of this brand called Young Guns. It's green chili. It's a little squat bottle like this. And so I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I put it in a grocery bag, and then I put it in another grocery bag. Because, like, if it leaks, I want it to be contained, you know? Mm-hmm. And so because of that, that yarn I bought her, the mohair, I wrapped it in a plastic bag. And then I just started wrapping everything in plastic bags. So that's her birthday wrapping paper, was grocery bags. And so I sent her the needle case. I sent her the stitch markers that Beth got her. I sent her the needles, of course. And then Eli got her a gift card. And we got her some, you know, some cash and stuff. So I'm hoping it makes it to her. So sad. I just bought her some candy, her favorite candy and stuff. Anyway, so hopefully she'll get it this week.
You know,
her birthday is what?
Mom
Thursday.
sent Robert, I think, a gift when we were on Cindy Street, and we got an empty box, and there were cookies in it, and Mom's like, I hope those mailmen enjoyed the cookies.
No.
And so after that, Mary Lou and Mom, they're all like, call us the second you get it. Mm-hmm. And Mom used to tape the boxes or you couldn't, hermetically sealed, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that it gets there. I hope it's just accidentally lost. Fortunately, nothing in there is going to spoil or go bad or anything. And I mean, the worst thing that could be the gummy bears will melt, but beyond that, I don't think, nothing bad's going to happen. I just, the needles I can replace, but I made that. I was so proud. I am so proud of that needle case.
Yeah.
It came out so well. But, so that was that. And, excuse my coughing and my bad voice. So, for a long time while I was sick, I couldn't knit. But then I started, remember how I said, I'm not going to start that shawl until I get things more done with Jordan's sweater. But I was like, but I am, so because this, remember how I said, I'm going to try to do another project to practice with mosaic knitting. But it turns out, like, she kind of gave you, like, what you can do to swatch it. So, here's my little swatch. I'll put a close-up of it. I started it the way it says, and I did, down here is what's called the broken seed stitch, is this part right here. And then this was supposed to be a color work, no, this is a, it's,
It's something.
yeah, no, it's this little 1x1 dots is what she calls it. So this is a contrasting color right here. And I read it. This is why you have to read patterns before you start. I read it and read it and read it. And then I had read that you could use a fingering weight yarn held double, or you could use a worsted weight yarn. 2 different colors of a worsted weight yarn. But in my brain, when it said to make this holding 2 colors at once, I thought that my brain interpreted that as held double. But it wasn't. It was 2 strands of one color and 2 strands of the other held together at the same time. So actually 4 strands. But this I made with only 1 of each color. So it's not very thick. And it came out stitch-wise right, but I was like, I thought it was supposed to be like a bigger, and I still didn't snap. So then I went on this area, do what the actual mosaic color work here. And then I practiced doing this little bobble edge. In the close-up picture, you'll see it's got little round balls on the edge. So this is going to be the edging of the whole scarf. So I thought, well, I'll bind off, and I'll do that bind off to practice it. And I felt really good about it. This is a low contrast yarn colors that I chose here. But in the close-up, you'll be able to see the mosaic knitting and the broken seed stitch and the little dots of color. So I felt really good about it, and I was like, oh, what the heck? I'll cake up the yarn and I'll start it. And I'm really glad that I did this. So I started it. Here's where I am so far.
It looks very
So,
nice.
yeah.
The color.
I love it.
This is the straight edge. It's a little bit curling right now, but when I block it, it'll be fine. But this is like, it's got like a kind of a garter edge along it. So this will be the straight edge that will be the top of the shawl. And then this is where the increases are, and this is where I'll pick up stitches to knit the other way, to knit this way. These are knitted this direction, and then I'll pick up along here and knit that way. I'll show a picture of the shawl. It's knitted in two directions. Well, so I did the broken seed stitch, and I'm pretty proud of it. Now this is the one I was mistaken even when I was explaining mosaic knitting. This pattern here, which is what I'm working on here, you work across in the one color, and then you pull the needle out, and you work. So say I would work. I'm about to work the wrong side, so I would work the black yarn all the way this way, and then I would pull the needle to the other side and work the white yarn all the way this way. And so you get this sort of interplay pattern. That looks very complicated, but really only working with one color at a time. But this part, where you can see the white and black in these little designs here, that's really the mosaic knitting. And what you do there is you work one row black, and then you work back, you turn it and work back, and then you work a white row and back. And then you work a black, black, white, white. But you're slipping stitches as you go, so that some of the stitches are elongated, and that's what creates that color pattern there. So it looks like you're like a fair isle, like I did with the hat, but you're only working with one color at a time. Now the baubles, you see the red and gold here. Those are the contrast colors I chose, and the first time I did it the way I did it on this swatch, which was one strand of red and one strand of gold, and I looked at it and I'm like, that does not pop out the way all the photos. And I went on Ravelry, and I looked at all, so people post their what they did in this I did a lot of that even before I started. I was examining the photos of people's work. I do that a lot because I like to see how normal people knit something. Like, I can tell if a pattern's good if normal people can knit it and it looks really good, rather than just test knitters or just the pattern writer. Like, or if I look at it and I'm like, that does not look good, which means a typical normal, knitter maybe either didn't understand, or you can just see. So anyway, I did a lot of research, and I was like, that does not pop the way all the samples I've seen pop. So I looked back and I read it, and I realized I needed to hold 2 strands of red and 2 strands of gold, and then make this pattern. And so that's why this little tail is so thick over here. But it pops really well now. You can see how it's double thick.
I love the way that looks. I love the pattern and everything. It's beautiful.
And the white of this that I chose for this is it's almost like a dirty white, creamy color, and it's very subtle, and I really like it. I can't remember the name of I can look it up in a second, but I like the contrast. I like it's contrasted, but it's not stark, I guess. It's more of a soft contrast. And then the pop of red and gold, I think it looks really nice. And who I'm making this for, wears a lot of red, and so I thought it would look, it's not so much that it would clash with anything she wears that's red, but it'll complement it, I think. So I'm very excited and I'm very pleased. And so far, I shouldn't even say this out loud because I'll tempt the evil fates. But so far, anyway, I did this red and gold band, and I was like, that's not right. So I had to take the whole thing out. And then I had to rewind my yarn because what I'm doing, I can pull one out. I didn't rewind it, but I had to. So what I'm doing is, so this is two threads, and what I'm doing is pulling one from the outside and one from the inside of the ball, in order to, because I didn't want to separate this ball into two pieces, two equal sized balls, because then your yarn is cut, and after, you don't need a lot of it, and I'm like, then that's gonna, I'll have less yardage together on one thing. Come here, Rogue. Come here, honey. So I did that for both the red and, hi, honey. Hi, baby. Won't bark. I did that for both the red and the gold. I took one strand from, you can't see it right here, but one from the outside and one from the center pull. You see right here, and it was easier to do. Yeah. So it took me a little while because I had to untangle. Oh, because when I pulled from the center, it came out in a wad. So I had to untangle the center yarn, and then back it all out and and double. Anyway, it was a mess. But I'm really proud of this, and it's like I was saying. Besides, after I fixed that red and gold portion so that it's the right size and everything, it kind of, I hate to say it, doesn't have any mistakes right now. It's like going well, and I don't have any, like, well, I'll just let that go. It's actually all working, and I'm going very slowly. Now, I will say, I'll put a close-up photo of this. I can see a change in tension in this broken seed stitch, this black and white area back here. I can see areas where, like, there's the white pops or the black, it looks like maybe the stitches were looser here or there. It bothers my eye, but not enough to obviously re-knit it. I think it will even out in the blocking. Like, see how the white pops in certain areas? Yeah. You can kind of see there might be like areas that look more white striped in a way. But I think it's subtle enough, and like right here really bothers me. And I must have just had a loose tension in the white areas there. I don't know why. But I think when I block it and kind of give it a good. Now, the other thing, I guess arriving today, I'm very optimistic that I'm going to finish this shawl. But I told Mark, I said, I need blocking wires. So they make these things, they're very long, thin wires that people use for like lace shawls that are where you have to really stretch them out. And you would have to use 10,000 pins. So you run this wire along the stitches, and then you can use pins. It'd be like if this were the blocking wire, I would use pins to kind of pull it and hold it out. And it helps to stretch a shawl out while it's drying, and you don't get those weird pin like stretches and stuff. Yeah. And I bought a set of straight ones, but they're only 15 inches long, and so the straight edge of this is much longer than that. I mean, they would go along the straight edge, but then I'd need some for the rounded edge. And I actually found some flexible ones that together even don't make up the arch. So I'd have to put two of the flexible ones like this, and then two straight ones on the corners. But I think I have enough ordered where I'll have enough coverage for them. And they're not cheap, but I was like, I've never had them. It's something I could use. I could have used with some of my other shawls that I made. So it's a good investment. So anyway, I'm just anticipating needing to. I could have ordered them 3 months from now when I finished the shawl or whatever. But I was like, no, I'll just do it now because I'm thinking through all these things and I won't have to worry about it. They'll be right there whenever I finish this. And I thought I was aiming for next May, a year from now. But if I happen to finish it over the summer, I can give it to her for her birthday in September. So that'll be fun. So I decided to start it. It's very intense knitting, so I have to really focus on it. And so it's not my sit on the bus and knit kind of thing. So it's that project for me right now. And then I've been working on Jordan's sweater when I'm like too sick to think, or I don't feel good enough to like think and have to look at a chart. I just sit and knit, and so still working on that. It's coming along, and I think that's really all I've done.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Okay.
That's me.
Well,
I'm the problem. It's me.
This is my second WIP-GO call for this month, but I couldn't remember where I was on the first one. I'll show you this one here in a second, but just in case it's been 2 weeks. So my first, I don't know which number came first. I don't care. But the first one I worked on of my WIP-GO pulls for April was Black Halloween series Twin Peak Primitives. And I decided that I was going to just go around and then leave this fill-in for later and just go around the design. So I've got most of the one witch in. The skull is done.
Oh.
And
Oh, I see.
and then the 10 days were over, and I said, I'm putting this down. Because I have a lot of things. So the second one was this Boo Crew, and I did print out the whole picture for several reasons. One, I wanted you guys to see the whole picture. And it's actually very cute. I love the little cat, on the end, and the cat sitting on the broom. It's cute, and so I'm enjoying working on it. I have it on paper now, and the reason I have it on paper is because the first one I put it in Pattern Keeper, and while there were issues like the black, they had the symbol for black twice in Pattern Keeper. In fact, Quarter Shop didn't. Pattern Keeper did. And so I'm like having to switch back and forth between them to see where the black goes. And it did that with another color too, and I don't remember which color it was. And so I got, this is right here about where the first page ended, right? So I was like, well, I have the completed thing now. I should just put the whole thing into Pattern Keeper. I attempted to do that 3 times. Yeah. So it went in, it didn't take the pattern that's a 3-page pattern. It didn't put a grid on the 3rd page at all. And so I had to manually go in there and get the grids all to match, which, okay. And then every time I tried to go to the next step, which was putting in the symbols and, what color goes to what symbol, it wouldn't give me any symbols. There were just little splotches. And I said, well, if I can just look at the pattern, I can look at the symbol, right? Mm-hmm. But it also, because of that, wouldn't highlight anything. And I was like, this is too annoying. I'll just print it out. So when I printed it out, the first page was not the same as the first page in the digital pattern, and it should have been, but they put it out in successive weeks, and so I don't know if you guys saw me. I was frogging. I don't know where the thread ended up. I was frogging part of what I'm working on now, because it was in the wrong place. And the reason it was in the wrong place is because this little cauldron that is, here's the thread, half on and half off the page here, wasn't the same. I'm like, wait a minute,
It's those page lines that always, for me, that always mess up because I'm looking at it
that wasn't what the problem was.
But they didn't line up.
It wasn't that they didn't line up. It was different.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I have the whole thing here. I'm just going to work with it as is, do it on paper. And in spite of that, I am enjoying it. So I don't enjoy working on Halloween in April, but you know, can't have everything.
The dice rolls.
That was literally the way the dice rolled. And I'm going to talk about my finish in a minute because there's other things to go with it. But I also have a new start. A while back, a viewer sent us some patterns, and I decided to go ahead and start this pattern. It is called Plant Pots, Pawts. You know what? I didn't take a picture of it. I took a picture of the start, but none of this. And Beth's birthday is in October, and I said, oh, this would be really cute because she has a whole bunch of plants and she likes succulents and stuff like that too. And I thought, oh, I could make this for her and finish it on something, you know, maybe something like that, you know, finish it up for her on something where she can put it in front of her plants. But I went ahead and told her about it because she would see me working on it. And
there's no Santa Claus.
No. And I'm still waiting for my snowman from, 2 years ago. Which is not FFO'd, and she didn't put it on the FFO list. So that is as far as I've gotten. Some ears.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Some ears on the middle cat. Now, I'm not happy, it shows the white showing up here better than what my white is showing up. And I'm doing this on, it feels awful, by the way. It feels like burlap. 14 count Yorkshire from, it's a Swigart from Hobby Lobby. But I think it'll look really nice with plants. And
kind of rustic looking.
Yeah, and as Beth said, we were at Hobby Lobby, and I there's a couple of greens, and I know I can just pick a different green. I mean, they're cactus, but DMC doesn't cost that much. And I thought, well, I'll just go over there and grab a couple of those DMCs that I'm missing, and completely forgot until I was walking out the door, and it wasn't because I wasn't in there buying. You'll see that here in a minute. So that was my new start, and I worked on my knitting project. I did that pattern again there, and in the vein of reading the instructions, as Naomi said, I just started to do a repeat. No, the second pattern is different. It's inset from the first one.
Oh, so it's
so
like
that it
staggers.
goes, so that it, yeah. And I had to take it all out. Well, fortunately, just the row that had the extra threads on it,
Yeah.
But I had to take it all out. And I was like, my dad used to say saying about reading the instructions for something before you get started. And he was not one of those men that did not want to read the instructions on something before he started putting it together. He wanted to read the instructions so he wouldn't have to put it together twice.
Right.
And yeah. So
he used to say, what was it? Something about like a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and he usually referred to grenades.
Yeah.
He was talking about that. He goes, if you read the first instruction and not the second one, you're going to pull out the pin and not throw the grenade. So I got some more work done on Burberry by Erica Michaels, and I'm doing this on ice blue 32 count Belfast linen. And I'm going to fold it so you can see it better. I did not continue with the scarf because it was bothering me, these little black things out here for the birds, and the little white swirlies are intertwined in those birds. So I said, I'm going to put the white swirlies, that way I can know where to put the birds, their bodies and all that. And, you know, I can always work on this at some point. Because it doesn't matter what part of the thing you're working on. What matters is that you're working on. So it's got a lot more of the little white swirlies. And you'd think because they're single lines of stitching that they would be less time consuming than like maybe going back and forth, and they are not. Because you have to really, really count to get them in the right spot. And especially when some of them come up to the, you know, the little hat or the birds or whatever, because I don't want to take it apart again. So that is Burberry, Erica Michaels. I feel like I'm talking really fast. Stay. And then, again, Erica Michaels, and this is Winterberries. And I just got on a thing where I just really want to get this done. I want to FFO these, all of my, I have 4 or 5 done that need to be FFO'd. And I'm like, I'm just waiting for this to do it. And maybe Burberry too. But definitely I would get these 3 Winterberries done. And maybe the Nativity Berry. And probably should go ahead and do the lots of Jolly Berry. And while I'm at it, I guess, you know, the Sewing Bee Berry. So I did a lot more work on this. I have one full sheep with his little hat. I love that stitch. I love it. This little hat, the little bobble. Uh-huh. His little feet are what kind of stitch is that called? It's a common specialty stitch. Smyrna crosses. The little booties. They're Smyrna crosses. And the pom-poms for the hats and the earmuffs are a Rhodes stitch, which I really like.
Can I see?
Is that what that little square is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how cute.
I had to do it several times before I did it right. But I love it. And I'm like, I want to get this next little guy done so I can put the little thingies on his ears.
That's so cute. That's neat how it's so raised.
But
it looks really cool.
I was going in and putting in white, and I was like,
"Oh, Eve, your little bee died." Oh, there it goes. The light and the little bee.
Well, you know, those little lights, they don't last forever. You can put new batteries in them, but, you know. So I did mess up a lot of counting on the black on this second sheep, or I would be a lot further. Now he's blinking.
Yeah.
I was half a stitch too low. First time I did the black, I was a whole stitch too high, and then I redid it 1/2 stitch too low. So when I tried to put in the white, I was like, why is this not working? And I said, well, I'll just fudge it. I won't redo it. And I said, no, I'll have 1 row of fat white stitches. No. So I, you know, any progress is progress, right? And I did add some more of the Etoile snow stuff because the earmuffs and the word warm are the same color, and I thought I'll just get ready to just do that color as soon as I get that little sheep finished, so I can put those on. it's really fun, you know, when you because you know you buy a pattern because you like it, right?
Yeah.
And it's really fun when you start seeing the cuteness of the pattern come out,
Yeah.
whatever it was that attracted you to the thing in the first place. And I waited to do this one last because I thought the little sheep were adorable. So it's really nice when they start.
Sorry, making beeps over here.
And would you, as Ringo, was it Ringo? No, John said. That was you buzzing, you naughty boy.
So this is Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, my temperature SAL.
Oh, how's that going?
And, you know, we've had some nice warm weather. Not that I've noticed because I've been inside being sick. But, you know, I'm not laying here freezing all the time anyway. It's nice, you know, oranges and yellows.
Wow.
One red. No, it's not red. It's darker orange. We're going to get into the reds probably next month.
Yeah. Next week, maybe.
Yeah. But I just love I just love this pattern. I love the way the colors look together, and you know, a lot of people, and I have room over here on this side. They build a key, you know, as to what temperature those colors represent.
Yeah.
And if I were more industrious, I might want to do that.
That's kind of cool, though.
Okay, so the reason that we stopped off at Hobby Lobby is because Beth, yet again, needed to go to Walmart. And when we were at Walmart the first time during the week, because I had gone and I wanted to find a lemon that looked like a lemon slice, and I had looked at our Hobby Lobby over here, and I couldn't find one. And I found a little cutting board that had a pot holder on it that looked like a whole lemon, but I kind of wanted a lemon slice. And I saw a lemon slice on Etsy, but I'm like, it's just a little bit too small, you know, from the dimensions given. And I even considered saying, you know, contacting them and saying, you know, I'll pay you extra, but can you make a bigger one for me? But the first time when we were at Walmart, I found this lemon cutting board.
That's cute.
Isn't it adorable?
It is very
And for my lemon cat, which I finally finished the back stitching on. And it's big enough because I have some plans for this lemon. Around it, I'm going to put this multicolored, springy, kind of cool-looking rickrack. I think, maybe, probably. And I found this yellow dotted ribbon and this rickrack at Walmart when I bought this.
Oh.
But I really wanted a ribbon with lemons on it. And it has some lemon slices and some lemons.
Cute.
And I found this at Hobby Lobby over there by Walmart. When we had to go again, I said, I don't want to go inside Walmart. I don't need anything in Walmart. I don't feel good. And I said, but this Hobby Lobby is over there. I'll wait for you here. And then we'll go to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, she was going to go to Hobby Lobby while I was in Walmart, and I was like, I want to go to Hobby Lobby.
And so a customer helped me find this ribbon, which actually was on sale, which was great, right? And I found this lemon slice. It's a coaster.
That's cute.
And I was like, do I want to use it as a coaster? Do I want to put it on this? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
See? But I had seen this at Hobby Lobby over here, but I didn't buy it because it wasn't big enough to put my thing on. But this has this huge hole in here, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, it can go through there. And I can, you know, maybe do something, you know, where it doesn't cover up the cat.
Oh, cute.
And
hold it more this way, Betty, because you're a little bit off camera. Yeah. That's cute.
this is a lemon slice with some, and this was the last one they had there that I saw. Because I had seen it at our Hobby Lobby, and I was at that bigger one, and they sell out of their stuff like this faster over there. And I was like, where is it? Please let there be one. Because I don't want to stop
You
at
know-
another Hobby Lobby.
As I was walking by, when I told you I'm going to go over there, and I walked by there, and I thought to myself, oh, that's that lemon slice with the beads that Eva was talking about that she had seen that she didn't buy, and I didn't realize it was the last one that was on that display.
There weren't
thing,
any.
you know?
There weren't
Yeah.
any on the
shelves or
counter,
anything, yeah.
right? But they had this one, and just so happened there was a lady working in the fabric. You know, at that Hobby Lobby, they actually put somebody in the fabric department to cut fabric. What a concept!
Fancy.
And I said, I saw over there a knit fabric that has lemons because I wanted, some little fabric behind, and I'm kind of on this lemon kick, and I was like, I could put yellow or something, but I wanted lemons. And she goes, yeah. She walked right over to some cotton, and this beautiful that matches this ribbon. Where's my ribbon? What did I do with it? It looks just like the ribbon with lemon slices and lemons, except it's not black behind. This beautiful lemon fabric, right? And lemon slices, hello. So I was just going to get enough for doing the FFO on this lemon cat, right? And I was like, that is too cute. No, I need to make a lemon bag. So hopefully coming to an Etsy shop near you very soon. So that...
But did you find lemon charms to go on?
No. I looked for lemon buttons.
We're getting to the summer. They might show up.
Well, I thought I would just do a search, maybe on Amazon or something.
Yeah.
But worst comes to worst, I can buy some Sculpey and make a lemon.
Ah.
I mean, not a lemon. I wouldn't even attempt to make a lemon slice. I would, I haven't used Sculpey that much that I would feel comfortable doing that. But I was so happy to get all this stuff, and I was like, I want to FFO that right now. No, I don't want to make a mess. We're gonna film. No, but I want to, because I just picked it up yesterday.
Yeah.
So
That's going to be so cute.
yeah. So that is kind of my story, and
That's
my
all your
stuff.
stuff? All right.
So that was my lemon stories.
Well, the big story for all of us is we were all sick.
Very.
Yes.
We were so sick last week. And, I went back to work I think I mentioned it last week. That I went back to work, and that was a mistake. Halfway through the day, I'm like, feeling kind of dizzy. I don't think I should be here. But,
Well, I drove Beth on Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. I drove Beth to Bible study because she wanted to go, and I was too sick.
yeah.
And I had a prescription I needed to pick up, and the pharmacy opened at 9, and I was dropping her off there right around 9. I said, I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to go home. And the pharmacy wasn't open, and I was like waiting a minute, and I was like, I'm going home.
Yeah, I know. This was the
And
worst.
and I got so sick that
Yeah.
day.
I got sick Monday. I started with a horrible sore throat, and then I was really out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad. And then this week I've been back at work, but my poor colleagues, I'm like, I'm not feverish. I don't have a fever. I don't think I'm contagious, but I just have this, you can probably hear it in my voice, but I have like a bronchial spasm kind of cough where like a certain air will hit me, or if I talk too much or whatever, I start like coughing, and can't stop.
Poor Beth got it last, so she's still.
Yeah. I'm still in the. You could hear me sniffling.
Yeah. And we went to orchestra this week because we're like, we have to go because the concert's on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, we have to go. And
By then, she was starting to feel a little bit better.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
I was surprised I could play because I'm
Yeah.
like, up until then I couldn't even talk without coughing.
The thing is that like I guess it was last night. Naomi turned me on to this Mucinex medicine. It's like like NyQuil makes the Dayquil NyQuil thing, and
But the nice thing about the music is it has all that glyphosate. I think it's glyphosate, and I don't know if that's how you say it, but that decongestant, it was the only thing that like got through my head.
Yeah, and
was so
so-
stuffed.
Yeah, I can't take.
So I
can't
used
take
it
cold
all.
medicine, so I didn't even try.
I used it and used the last of it the other day, and then I thought, no, I'm okay. I was feeling better and feeling clearer, not quite. I still have a lot of congestion, a lot of that I'm having to blow my nose and stuff like that a lot, but otherwise, like I'm not coughing and everything like that. But I think I am breathing through my mouth a lot, because I feel like my throat gets kind of dried out and all that. And so then last night, I was going through my stuff, and I was actually I didn't stitch at all last night, at all yesterday, I don't think, because in the morning we did this and that, and we went to get a few things from the grocery store, and I don't know what all we did, but we went to Walmart and everything, and so
That's all we did yesterday. Walmart and Hobby Lobby. That's it.
Oh yeah, and so by the end, by the end of the day, I just was tired.
It's exhausting. This cold is like sappy. Mark is really sick, and he's got it in his lungs really bad. Like
it hit my lungs hard.
Well, but I had thought, I was over it, I was fine, and then like last night, I was coughing and coughing, and I didn't feel like congestion or anything like that. But then I thought, I'm really kind of not well completely, and so I ended up taking some nighttime, some knockoff, version of NyQuil kind of thing, and so I took a couple of the nighttime things. And then, I was conked out, but the coughing fits, kind of stopped. And
well, I haven't been able to take. I mean, I haven't taken any of the cold medicine recently because I'm like, it's nice when you're really sick because it's got acetaminophen and all the different drugs. But I'm like, I don't really need all of that, and so I'm trying to wean myself off of it. But I don't know what today feels different. And I'm like, I still feel like very, like I'm on an inhaled steroid. I'm on an antibiotic. Now I finally went to the doctor. I should have gone to the doctor 2 weeks ago. But I finally went this past, I don't know, Thursday, I guess. And she put me on antibiotic, and she put me on, and put me back on like an inhaled steroid and my regular inhaler and stuff. But I feel... I don't know. I feel weird in my chest and my throat.
Well, you've had a very busy day, and following a busy week.
So, we went and looked at cabinets today. We went and met at the showroom and talked to the guy we're going to hire. We finally decided to go forward. We finally got our insurance payout, and we finally decided to go ahead and move forward with this particular contractor. So we went to his showroom today and looking at cabinets and countertops, and I'm like sort of overwhelmed. I'm like, like so much to think about, so many decisions to make, like what color we want and whether we wanted to go with like the standard regular cabinetry or like a custom build. And the difference in price isn't huge. And so I think we're going to go with a custom build because our kitchen is so small that we could do the standard cabinet sizes, but it doesn't give us a lot of creativity in terms of like different shapes and different things. And so with the custom cabinetry, we can make it really fit exactly what
well,
we
and
need
from doing your kitchen before that and you did that mostly yourself.
That little kitchen set up in Redfield has more storage than the kitchen in my big house.
And probably more than this one too.
Maybe. But it's just so small. And
you need to make a cat shelf.
I know. I was talking about that. We were talking about... Because, we have I call it a little building. We have a pantry that's actually like... Because we have these giant ceilings, and so we have a pantry that's like it has a roof, it's like a little closet freestanding in the kitchen. And I guess our neighbors nearby with the same house, the guy told us, they just completely demolished that thing and put a big pantry cabinet there. We're not going to do that. But what we're thinking about doing is taking the door off and putting a barn door that slides this way to give us a better look than that. It's just a closet door, So but I don't know if there's something else we can do with the inside of that pantry. It's just shelves, and we need to figure something else out, because that is inefficient. And so like there's some stuff that should be in the pantry that's on our countertops, like our like baking canisters, like flour, sugar, all that we have on the countertops, but really we have so little countertop space that, and so it's just so inefficiently.
You need to get the property brothers in there
They would just tear the whole house apart. But so what we're gonna also do, I think, is so the ones on the stove side, they're gonna be taller, to higher up to the ceiling, to have more space up there, which will be nice for like long-term storage.
Yeah.
And then the ones
Stuff you
over the
don't use.
sink, we're gonna make a little bit taller. I mean, a little bit longer, but I don't think we want them to hang down, because we have that window, you know, from the kitchen to the living room area. We have that window, and I don't think we want them to hang below the window, because they would show from the other side. But what we are going to do is take a piece of the countertop and put a small piece of it on the windowsill itself to make it kind of tie in. I think that's going to look really nice. One of the things our neighbors did,
like a bar kind of thing.
kind of, it's not gonna extend past the wall very much. It would just be like a little cap, like a pony wall cap, like a windowsill, like a little bit over each edge.
Oh, I see.
But it's gonna, because right now it's just drywall.
Yeah.
You know, it's just painted drywall right there. Which, if you put anything wet up there, you risk damaging the wall, which I've lived with this whole time.
Yeah.
And then because we're talking about putting a backsplash behind the sink. But I'm like, if the backsplash just comes to the edge of the wall, that's going to look stupid.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, could we put a piece of countertop on the windowsill? And he's like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. So, and when you walk into the house and you look into the kitchen, you'll see that pretty, that pretty
you
countertop.
could, you have a large living room. You could put a little bar thing there where when you have parties, you can put out your crock pot and stuff like that.
That's not a bad idea. Build a cabinet. We would have to build a cabinet to support it on that side. That's interesting.
But because your living room is huge, and so you could. She likes to entertain, and when we have Thanksgiving and stuff, we do it at her house, and
there's more room to put a big table there.
Yeah, for everybody, and that way you don't have all of when people are trying to cook a turkey, you don't have the crock pot sitting there. You can even put a plug.
I never thought about that. That's an interesting idea. To bring a cabinet, like a sidebar almost, into the living room. Maybe.
Yeah, like those, like what Mom has over here in the kitchen. Something like that, but longer.
And taller. That's interesting. But anyway, so, and so we decided to go with a custom build because, like,
makes more sense for you.
In the corners, I hate my corner cabinets. They're so useless. So we are going to get one of those corner cabinets with like a Lazy Susan, so you can use it. And one of the things our neighbor did was on that, you know, the bar side from our, like, we have the kitchen sink, and then we had a countertop that ran this way into the kitchen. On that side, on the dining room side, they put a pull-out cabinet with their trash can. And so it hides in that cabinet, and I was like, that's a good idea.
Speaking of trash cans,
but but we'll have to but then you give up cabinet space, which I told Mark I'm not sure I want to give up cabinet space. Because I need every inch. So we have a lot of thinking to do, and I'm so overwhelmed. But I think we decided on a dark kind of cherry wood cabinetry.
They'll look pretty with your walls.
Yeah, and then a quartz countertop that's like browns and creams, so that it kind of still will go with the sort of earth tones of our house, but not matchy to the. Because a little bit I wanted, like, because we have whitish tannish floors. Mostly, I call it dirty white in my mind. Dirty white tiles, and then we have, I thought a dark cabinet and then a light countertop. But this countertop is sort of in the middle. I think it'll cut the difference, and it's very. I have pictures. That is very pretty. So I think that's where we're gonna go, and then we have to figure out a backsplash, because I found a backsplash I liked, but then when I but thinking of a more subdued counter. But I like the more interesting counter, which means we need a subdued backsplash. So anyway, that was exciting today. We went out and looked at that, and
I was like,
here's the kicker. Guess how much longer I have to live like this? If we ordered right now, we'd probably be looking at like late August, September.
But you know what? When I think back to, and you basically did it yourself because you got the cabinets at IKEA and all that. When I think back to how long it took you to put your kitchen back together,
Yeah.
and that's doing it yourself and going and buying them and taking them home and doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And this is uncomfortable for you, but
it's like, so the whole summer will be like this. So I one of the contractors, not this guy, but one of them that came in to give us estimates and stuff for the insurance said, "Oh, we could put in a temporary sink." Now I don't know what that means, but I was like, so I told Mark, I'm like, tell him we're gonna go with him, see if he can come do the drywall right now, even when we don't paint it, just so that Hobbs stops eating it. My cat eats the drywall. See if he can just put up the drywall right now, and then see if they can do something like a temporary sink. Because I was kind of excited about that. Like, that is, if I had a sink in which I could just regularly wash dishes without having to tote water, I feel like my life would be a little bit better. Because right now it's very...
Can you imagine in the olden days when they had...
Shut up. I know. My grandma had it tougher. But I'm
the thing is, it's different. In Belgium, when my water froze, that was water for washing dishes, for taking a bath, for flushing the toilets, everything.
Yeah.
Except the water in the cellar.
Yeah.
And I had to go down the stairs with a bucket and bring the water up and flush the toilet. And go down the stairs and get a bucket and put it on the stove to heat it so that I could wash dishes.
Yeah, I know.
Or take a bath. And
I'm spoiled, I know.
No, what I'm saying is that was easier for me than what you're living with right now. Mm-hmm. Because I could do those things.
I mean, I have running water in the house.
I know.
It's just the I don't have a sink. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that I could fill up.
Right, and I was able to just put the water in the sink.
Yeah, So my little wash tubs are very small, and of course the water gets cold right away. And I'm just being a baby. I know it.
And when you're sick and you're trying to do all that stuff, it makes it even worse.
With all this illness, I'm like, sorry, Mark. But if he could do that, just so we could have running water in the kitchen, would be fabulous. Yeah. But if not, we'll just have to, get on a system and be diligent. Because, we were doing pretty well. I was doing pretty well, like cooking rudimentarily. Rudimentarily? Is that a word? Anyway, cooking of like pre-made meals that you just heat. You don't have a lot of
cook, a lot of
frying pans cutting and messes and stuff.
It's just trash.
But then I got sick, and so for the last 2 weeks, we're back to eating out. And Mark's like, this has to stop. I'm like, I know, but I'm tired. So hopefully now that we kind of have a plan, I guess I'm feeling a little better about it all. And then it'll be about 2 weeks of actual building where we'll have to alternate staying home, meeting the guys and stuff. Oh, in other news, the Phoenix Symphony launched their season for subscriptions. If you're in the Phoenix area, you should look at it. I meant to bring you the brochure and I forgot. So that's been very exciting. We've been very busy on the phones selling subscriptions. The season looks really good. I think it's going to be exciting. So that's been fun.
Speaking of concerts,
we have one coming up Tuesday.
I have that too.
Oh.
But I mean, for in October, for my birthday, and I was like, and I think actually Sting's birthday is October 2nd. But Sting is coming to Phoenix. He's part of his big tour or whatever, and I was reading some news article thing that said, he's, I guess announcing his North American dates, because this tour he's on. So he's in Europe, I guess, right now or something, and so he's, in North America. And so I was just casually, reading this article, and I thought, wait, I live in a big city now. And there's, all kinds of people come to Phoenix, like Taylor Swift was here the other day.
John. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually...
but at least they're going to some... That theater that he's going to be at, Beth was like, I'm trying to find some handicap seating there. And I'm like, you are thinking the wrong theater, hon.
Yeah. Well, when I was looking at it, and Naomi looked at it differently, because I kept thinking,
I'm
she had told me
that you bought tickets at a third-party site.
Well, I kept thinking that, because I kept looking at it, and
I'm like, you should have let your box office sister help you, you goofball.
Well, I was gonna send it to you, but then I thought, well, she's at work, and I don't know if she can do, and yeah. So anyway, but so the little map thing that
but you still only paid like the 70 whatever, right?
A little bit more than that because of the fees and all that kind of stuff.
But
so,
I mean, it wasn't like 300.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't have done that.
Some people, little old people.
I know.
We have all these tickets available in the hall, but they go to a second seller and pay. Oh, I really want to go to Broadway tonight or whatever, and it's $300. I guess I'll pay it. And then they call us like, I never got my ticket. I'm like, that's because you didn't buy it from us, and that ticket that you bought would have been $50 instead of $300. Drives me crazy.
But so, but yeah, I was trying to find because when I first,
especially since the orchestra could really use the $300.
Exactly. If you're willing to pay $300, why don't you?
Yeah. So when I was looking at the initial sort of an announcement of the that he was coming or whatever, it said something about there was a supposed link for handicapped accessible seating.
Exactly. Right.
But when I was trying to look at it, the link, it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't, it said something you had to go to something else to look for. And this is before I made the decision to pull the trigger and buy tickets. I was just curious about the situation, and so I really didn't look any further. But when on the site, and I kept looking at it, and it said that it was the hall, but it didn't have specific seats like nowadays. If you go to Harkins and buy tickets,
I went to look at it.
It'll show you the seats that are available.
Yeah, I went to look at it, and it showed available, but it did say that it'll be row F, and you'll have two seats together.
Yeah.
And it had semi-ambulatory or handicap.
Yeah, see that I didn't see.
Yeah, so I think you were now. It's very confusing, and we have to figure it out too, because actually we're selling a show through them. But I think it's Ticketmaster that does their ticketing. But I'm not 100% sure.
Well, this wasn't a Ticketmaster site.
But that's what I'm saying. I think you were in some weird site.
But you know what? I remember that theater from Hannah's thing, and they don't have handicap seating. Remember the problems we had?
Yeah, with Mom. I'm trying to find a place for Mom. I know. What they have is wheelchair spaces and companion seats. Mm-hmm. But then I saw semi-ambulatory, and so I thought maybe that was something...
Yeah, because when I was looking at it, it had blocks for the balcony and for this and that. And it said block 304, 305, 306, and so on those things it said your seats would be together.
I wish that you
and it had the rows
that you at least would have bought a seat where you didn't have to walk up a bunch of steps.
Well, there was row 11 and row 12, and that was all that was available.
Yeah, so I don't think you were on the right site, but anyway, we're gonna work it out.
Yeah. So it had a handicap symbol, the little wheelchair guy symbol, but
that's only a space.
You couldn't click on it or request it or anything like that. It didn't have any kind of list, specific listing or for that row or whatever. So I don't know if that row was already sold out or whatever, but
Yeah. I don't know.
So yeah.
But I told her, I guess I'll run. I mean, I like Sting well enough, but I'm like, if you buy my ticket, I'll take you. But can I take my knitting? No, I like his songs well enough, but I'm just not super I'm not a super fan. I'm not super interested.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Beth was like, "Oh, he's coming and play." I'm like,
okay.
"Okay."
Well, I had decided at some point, like, when I lived in Little Rock, I was very excited because I'd seen an article like in maybe December that Harry Connick Jr. was coming to Little Rock. I thought, oh, that's really great. And I thought, I was, really, I'm poor now, but I was really poor then also. And so I thought, I really can't, I don't know how much the tickets will be, but I really, And it was December, and I don't know if the tickets were, or I don't know, but like the tickets weren't being sold yet or something, I don't know what. But I just kind of like, no, I really can't do that. And then I got a call from several months, so I just forgot about it. And then several months later, I guess, I got a call from the lady that used to be our personnel manager, and she talked very slow. She was very southern, and she goes, "Hi, I was just wondering if you were interested in playing for Harry Connick Jr." I was like, "Yes!" I was like, "I will pay you," And yeah. So what was really cool is that he would, whatever cities he went to, he had like a combo, a few players that he brought with him, but then he would recruit locally for the little sort of swing orchestra that he had to play with him. So I got to play with Harry Connick Jr.
And you didn't have to buy a ticket.
And I didn't have to buy a ticket. But then I had decided sometime later, I always wanted to go to a taping of The Big Bang Theory. And I would read all these stories of people went to the taping and they did it. And I thought, I always wanted to go, but it was always on, the show was taped, I think on a Tuesday. And so, you would have to go kind of, in the middle of it. And I thought, we always had rehearsals on Tuesdays, whenever I knew that the tapings were going on, I'm like, I really can't go because of this, and I can't go because of that. And then at one point, I was looking at it, somebody had mentioned it, and I thought, wait, this date, it was like spring break or something like that. And so, or I don't know what. But, so there was no orchestra rehearsal, and I didn't have anything else going on, and I thought, I'm going to do it. And so I bought a ticket and for the airplane, and
I
bought a cell phone.
We'd been trying to get her to get a smartphone forever, and wanting to go and do that, she needed to order an Uber, so she needed.
Yeah. So
I'm glad you did that though. That was that was good.
Well, I did. I went to a lot of Star Trek conventions and Star Trek cruises and all kinds of stuff like that. And it was always fun, but the one I really enjoyed is it was a charity luncheon. It was in Burbank, I think. And I went. And it was just sitting around chatting with these people from Star Trek, but it was sitting around at the same table with them for a while, and then you had the autograph line and all that, and you got to talk to everybody again. And I didn't sit at a table with everybody. I think I was with Renee Aubergenois, I think, and maybe Andrew Robinson was at that table too.
That's neat.
Yeah, and it was it was so much different than sitting in an auditorium, seeing somebody speak up on that was fun. I enjoyed it, and maybe getting an app,
right.
But you don't get a conversation.
Yeah.
And Walter Koenig, on one of the cruises we were on, Mona and I were sitting on beach chairs out on the deck. It was evening, and we saw him come out on the deck, and he went and he kind of looked, over the edge and stuff, and he was just wandering around, and he just came and sat down on one of our beach chairs and started talking to us. And those kinds of memories, that happened a long time ago.
That's fun.
And so sometimes I get very frustrated with Robert because he wants to go here and he wants to go there, and I'm very concerned about money these days. But I'm like, he's 25. This is the time when you need to be doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because if he gets married and have kids,
Yeah, no more.
you don't have time, you don't have money. You know, so
Well, and one of the things I did that was fun also when I lived in Little Rock was I went to see Patrick Stewart, who played Captain Picard. He had a one-man show on Broadway for a while where he read Christmas Carol. It was a one-man, he just read the thing and did all the voices and all that kind of. It was fun. But so anyway, so there was a fan club for Patrick Stewart called Stargazers or whatever, and he found out, it was his official fan club, whatever, and he found out at the time that I guess the people that ran the club sort of routinely operated in the red because of the significance of the cost and blah blah blah. And so anyway, he decided to do a fundraiser for the club, and it was he did a one-man show of called, I think it's called like Uneasy Lies Ahead, and so he talked about all these roles that he had playing kings and significant people, and he did I think he did a little segment from Christmas Carol, and he did other things, but anyway, so he was it was just him
Where
talking.
was it?
It was in Baltimore.
Oh.
And so one of my friends from Little Rock went with me, and we picked up some other people.
That's fun.
And we drove to
Like
Baltimore.
a little road trip.
So it was fun because then there was a breakfast, and he went around. He spoke a little bit, and then he went around from table to table and sat down and talked with us and all that stuff. And because I think his birthday was not while we were there, but like either before or after. So they had a little birthday cake for him, and then there was an auction. So he brought some of his stuff, some like I think his personal copy of like Shakespeare or something, and it had all these little notes in the margins, that he had written to himself, and a few other things, So he talked about his stuff, and then he talked about some Star Trek stuff and all this stuff. But it was just a lot of fun, and it was one of those things where you think, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, and you think it's not going to happen more than once.
Yeah, once in a lifetime.
Yeah,
I need to do that with my knitting heroes.
yeah.
I need to go to Norway and go on a knitting cruise. That's my dream. But not until I get my cabinets fixed. But, well, we have been at this for a little while, so we should go and give you...
yes. I need to put lemons together.
Yeah. I need to go home and I don't know what I need to do. Rest, wash clothes. Yes, this morning Mark goes, we're out of suds. I'm like, what are you, from 1950? Who says suds? Like, I laughed for like 5 minutes about that. Anyway, I gotta go buy some suds. Anyway, thanks for joining us for one more week. We're so grateful for all of you.
Thank you guys for being patient with us.
Thanks for being patient with us last week when we were out of it. But thanks so much, and everybody pray for Hannah's box.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you later. Bye bye.